Hello and welcome to the Alpha Software Demo and Q&A webcast. I'm Dave McCormick, VP of Product Management here at Alpha Software, and I am very pleased to bring you the second best Alpha presentation you will see this week. So we'll get into why it's second best. This one is still pretty cool. Today we're going to be talking about styling an element that has been generated by Alpha Anywhere. This is the sort of when all else fails and you can't find it in the style sheet and you can't find the setting, how do you style an element? But let's get back to why this is the second best presentation, because the first best, I believe, was released on YouTube by Bob Moore over the weekend. So before we get started, just a couple of things. If you do have questions, you can type them into the questions box of the GoToWebinar control panel. And as always, if someone could just let me know whether or not you can hear me and see my mouse moving around on the screen, that would be great so that I can get started. Just go ahead and type that into the questions box or into the chat window, and we will get started. Oh, perfect. Thank you so much. Okay, good. It's all coming in at once. It looks like there's a little delay. All right, cool. Anyway, if you were lucky enough to have attended our DevCon back in November of 2024, you may have seen a presentation by Bob Moore on Firebase. And he has released another presentation or another application which uses Firebase. Firebase is a service that you can use as a database. You can also use it for authentication. And he's built this cool little note-taking application in Alpha using this. He's also created a video that goes along with it. The link, by the way, is remoorejr/alpha-notes with alpha and N capitalized. That'll take you to the GitHub repository where you can download this component. I'm going to show you this component in a minute. But it also below it shows the link to his 1-hour YouTube video where he goes through and explains how everything works. Now, Bob is a seasoned professional, and as a seasoned professional, when he runs into an obstacle, he always finds a way to get around it. And one of the things he ran into was with our new query by example feature, which I demonstrated about a month ago. Query by example is a feature that hangs out at the top of your list controls and allows your users to type in their search criteria. It's a newish feature, and it hasn't yet, even though there's some styles that are defined for it by default, there's no specific styling for it in the style sheet, in the Alpha style sheet, nor are there special controls in the properties. So if you recall, when you're trying to adjust an object's CSS property, you can either do it by setting its class definition, its style definition, or its definition in the project style sheet. None of these apply to the QBE, so he used something that was called CSS Injection. I'm going to show that to you in a minute. We're also going to now jump back and take a look at Bob's component. So let's go ahead over to my PC and we'll take a look. So this is the component that gets installed, that doesn't get installed, that you basically paste into your web projects control panel. It comes with all of these except for the one called QBE style. And again, you can get that from GitHub. Let's actually, hang on a second. Let me see. I want to put that link directly in for you guys. Good, I've got it right here. All right. Let me put this into the chat window. Because as soon as you leave today, I have a feeling you're going to want to check this one out. Okay, so it's in the chat window. You can go ahead and grab that. So here's the application that he put together. Let's take a look at the controls. And, a bunch of controls. One of the cool things about this app, which you'll see in the video, is its ability to do real-time data exchange. So when two people are using the app at the same time, when one person makes an update, say on a field, the other person sees it instantly on their app without them having to hit the refresh button or anything like that. So again, worth checking out. What we're going to be taking a look at, though, is just the small little thing that he did today, which had to do with styling. You'll see that he's got a list control in here called list one, and he's got query by example turned on for this list. I'm going to show you my example because it's much simpler. Oops, close that. Let's open up this one. Hi, by the way, I'm using the nightly build, and there's something a little quirky with how these things are opening. All right, here we go. So here is my my UX control. And if you take a look at it, it's very simple. It's just a text field, a button, and a list control. And there's a QBE button there. And I've placed this weird black thing around here. And I did that here as for a point. And that is because when you go and try to style the, you do have some control over how QBE functions. So if we go and take a look here in this list, and you go into list properties, and you go into the query by example, definition, you can set things like, how many records were, whether or not you want to show how many records have been found. You can do some help, you can do some other stuff, but you'll notice there's no real styling stuff here. So what Bob did, which I thought was very clever, was that he opened this up. Let's do this in live preview. Okay, that opens up, and I'm actually going to open this right up in Chrome. All right, so here we are in the Chrome browser. Now, if I right click and say inspect, what I can do then is highlight over this area here. Oops, I need to first open up my QBE fields. And you will notice just by hovering over it, you can get its ID. Let me see if we have it right here. And the ID that we are looking for is something that is called QBE buttons. So you will find that here when you go and you do a search. And so the question is, how do I affect the QBE button so I could do something like, for example, just put this box around them? Well, what he did was back in the definition of the, control, if we go into properties, we defined some local CSS for this. And we made a new one called QBE box. And in QBE box, we set our border, for example. We also set alignment and some other things as well. And this I stole, by the way, from his other application. You'll find that when you download the GitHub. And now, okay, once that's in there, go ahead and close. What he did was in the initialization script here, he ran this piece of JavaScript. This piece of JavaScript finds the dialog object, which is what we had, the object that we want to change, and we found that using the Chrome debugger. And then we use this class list.add. This is a property or method that you can apply to that object. And what we're adding is a class to its list of classes, and the class we're adding is called QBE box. So the net result is that the local CSS that we had defined called QBE box is assigned to that object as soon as initialization is complete. And that is what makes that work. I thought it was a very clever trick and not something that I had seen before for styling Alpha Anywhere applications. So hopefully I think you would find that cool. Just another little fun thing that I had forgotten that you can do is back here in the Chrome debug or in the Chrome debugger is you can actually toggle it as a device. And then here it has a collection of all of the most common phone types. Sure, some of you knew that. I didn't, so I just wanted to point that out because I think it's pretty cool that you have that ability. And then you can basically see how it's going to render. All right, so this was not a very long session today, but mostly I was pretty excited to tell you all about the new application and video that we have now available on GitHub. So go ahead and grab that out of the chat window and go to it. One last thing I wanted to show you, just another CSS trick, not really an Alpha Anywhere trick, is this here, because when you're looking at his code, you're probably going to say to yourself, I'm used to defining CSS like this, but what is this greater than sign then? Some of you will know, but it means that you want to be able to select the sub elements of the QBE box. So in other words, the individual boxes within, for example, a div, you want to give them that solid black border. You can do that using the syntax here. So kind of a cool trick, just so you know that's how that works when you're looking through Bob's code. All right, let's go take a look for questions. Do we have any? Doesn't look like it. Might be a short session. Well, I guess that's it. Hey, everyone, thank you so much for showing up today. I look forward to seeing you at our next Wednesday webinar. Until then, take a look at Bob's video and stay well. Thanks. Bye-bye.